Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the project that you've been working on at the Hacker House?
My name is Antonio. I build x402 on Stacks, and I'm from Mexico.
I've been hearing a lot about x402 lately. Maybe before we get into your project, can you explain a little bit about what x402 is for those that are not familiar?
Sure. So basically, x402, it's a way to pay on the internet. It used to be only like an HTTP status code, but now you can add your payment details, like the wallet address, the amount of crypto you want to receive, and agents or API callers can pay for your services.
So how long have you been working on this project on Stacks?
Yeah, I've been working on this like the last 3 weeks for the Latin American Hackathon. I started the project there. I got an opportunity to be here at the Hacker House for this week, and I continue improving the project in these days.
You've been at the Hacker House for this past week. How was that experience for you?
It was pretty great. Not only like the spot, the place was pretty great too, but also all the founders, all the Stacks people there. It was pretty amazing. I really liked the experience to be there.
It's wonderful. Do you have any experience building on other blockchains?
Yeah, I used to work on different EVMs, especially the Ethereum and the Solana ecosystem.
How would you compare between building on like Ethereum or Solana to building on Stacks?
To be honest, I'm really surprised on how easy it was. I started like a little late my project when I got into the hackathon. So for me, it was like, maybe I'm not gonna make it, but it was really easy. A lot of resources, a lot of information on the LLMs. So yeah, I think the step to moving from the EVM or the Solana ecosystem to the Stacks one wasn't that hard.
What are some of the tools that you're using to build your app?
All right, so I'm not using a lot of smart contracts here. I'm pretty much using all the APIs around the Stacks ecosystem. So Hero, the chain hooks, all that stuff is basically the power of my project.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, this is Antonio, and today I'm going to show you x402. So here we have a conversation with ChatGPT. And this is a private API that you can use. So basically, I wanted to get some data from a TikTok online, but there's an issue. You need to pay for that data. And it's okay, right? There's a developer. That developer is charging you to get that data, but ChatGPT or any LLM cannot access to that data because they cannot pay for that. What is the current flow? I need to go, me as a developer, I need to go get sign up, get the API keys, pay for the service, now give those API keys to my LLM, and maybe my LLM can create that tool to access to that data, and now I can get that data, right? That's something it's not useful because it's pretty hard for LLMs, for agents to do. What is the issue? The agents don't have a credit card, and they won't have a credit card. We are now running everything on a legacy infrastructure where payments are built for humans, not for agents. That's when x402 Stacks come from, the native Bitcoin payment protocol. But what is 402? So let's start first with 402. So basically, over the time, we had HTTP codes, which is like a status response from the server. Let's say you go to Google and you access to a website, you're going to receive a 200. That's the resource was successfully sent, right? And maybe this is the game we all see at Chrome. Maybe you get a 404, which means that the resource wasn't found. We already have a status code to represent that a payment is required. That is 402. The thing is that since we are running on a legacy infrastructure, 402 was only like a block, but we didn't have the opportunity to actually pay for that resource using HTTP. But now with 402, we can actually, with x402, sorry, we can actually send the payment details to the client, so the client can make that payment through crypto. This is how it works. The client requests a resource. The resource sends the HTTP code 402. Then with the payment information, not only 402, but also with the payment information you need, like for example, your wallet address, the amount of SBTC or STX that the agent needs to pay for that service. So once the client receives or the agent receives that information, creates the signature and sends the payment back to the backend. The backend goes to the facilitator. The facilitator settles the payment and confirms that the payment was done. Once that's done, it gets back to the backend. The backend now sends the resource back to the client. So with this flow, agents are now able to have a wallet and pay for any service on the internet that they require. What are the opportunities for this? So basically, we have AI agents for APIs, as I show you on ChatGPT. So basically, now we can pay for any service on the internet using x402 and paying with FBTC or STX. If you are a content creator, let's say you have a blog, now you have to rely on ads, right? But now you can charge maybe like a cent instead of like adding ads to your block. You can charge a cent, and now agents can read your information, or even humans can read your content. Services like cloud storage or anything, basically pretty much anything you need to pay on the internet, instead of like having a subscription-based model, we can now pay per resource that everything that every agent or every human needs, instead of signing up for everything. So this was a few weeks ago, but basically almost 20% of all the transactions on Base were made through X402. That's so big. Base has a lot of transactions, a lot of transactions, and now 20% of all transactions are made through X402. That's the huge potential we have here in Stacks. Here we have a quick demo. I will go super fast on this one. So basically, it was the one I was talking about, that I wanted to get some data from TikTok. I wanted to download basically the metadata from that TikTok. I'm gonna put this in a little bit faster just so we can see. Now it's I tried to access to that resource. Here we have basically the API where you are charged some sats to get that resource. So I'm gonna get that TikTok data, and my agent will actually go through the API, but instead of only receiving the 402, it's going to get the address from the response, create the transaction, send the SBTC for the wallet address of the backend, and with that transaction, the backend would actually send back the TikTok information. So here we have the TikTok information. The difference is from ChatGPT is that ChatGPT wasn't able to pay for that service on the internet, but now this agent that I created, it's basically a wrapper of ChatGPT, was able to actually get the data using X402. And well, this is the team, my co-founder and I, Cloud Code, and me, Antonio. I've been CTO of many different startups. You're an entrepreneur. I did Y Combinator a few years ago and launched the first crypto-backed credit card in Mexico. If you want to know a little bit more, here's the QR code where you can scan and get all the information required to start building with X402 on Stacks.